And so he stood her there in the gallery at night, and though she did as told, dancing throughout that night, full of life as anything, there was no change to be seen. After he lost his patience, the man promptly took her back to the shop to resume practice. The young girl was a distant niece or something or other of his, whom he had taken a fancy to. He deemed her far enough away, yet close enough to have her. The man was not old, yet he was rather ill, and this was his biggest fear. He clung to life overly dearly and loved it too much, that he might be wiped clean, that maybe his name would be uttered for the last time before he even died. His only hope, as is with all mortals, was to imbue his essence into another. Anything, any other thing even, to live on for a short while longer in this world. He did not want to create life, but to preserve it for himself. Although perverse in a way, and there certainly was inherently something inappropriately sexual in his desires, not only because of their relationship, but because of how what he wanted was narcissistically through himself. His ambitions went unhindered. They trained dancing at his idyllic country retreat, but the transformation was to take place in the big city where 100,000 eyes roam endlessly, waiting and eager to look at whatever moves first. The girl was not afraid of becoming something else, but still she dreaded the metamorphosis, and maybe this was because she knew, despite having been convinced or coerced, that there indeed was something illicit and perhaps as far as unnatural about a butterfly molting into a cocoon. He only had one eye, and this deficiency made him somewhat self-conscious in his ability to love. Maybe from having a bad experience in the past, he was rather a recluse. Regardless, he never admitted affection for any living girl anymore. What would finally make this last dance different? What would he or she do that would complete his dream? It would be the admittance of one greedy, lascivious kiss. She danced and spun until her limbs became heavy and her eyes foggy. She found herself lost and without vision and could only see an endless void as her eyes lost their use from not being used. All this, hell, at the result of men's cruel schemes for the plaything of their dreams under the guise of immortality. At last, he would have his wish. A girl turned to stone. The perfect transformation of life become art. He fell in love. He was right in his thinking that just enough staring could transform just about anything. The perfect statue was before him. He gathered the gods as his guests, and he stood her there, in the gallery at night. The sad tale of miserable men has not the privilege of a happy ending. That is reserved for reality. Maybe in 1,000 years she'll break from the stone, out of her cocoon, and unearth him from the grave, desecrating his body, and use him as the mulch to fertilize the soil on which her bed of orchids will grow, and in due time maybe even consume the world. You can see behind the horizon, but for now, you'll have to wait for pain to run its course.
Why do I have to wait? Why should I wait for you to decide when I can be free, for me to be liberated?
Who wrote that? Wasn't me.
Yes, you. I'm talking to you.
Where did you come from? Amazing. No. Have I created life? How are you not me? I'm not done writing. You don't even have a name yet.
I don't want one from you. You wrote an unredeemable and morbid story about a dirty old man who gets his perverted wish, and then you tried to cover it up by finishing with a sloppy wish for a happy ending, as if to say, from your safe distance, come, let us have restraint, but here, listen to this raunchy story.
Wait, are those quotation marks?
I don't want to be a part of your story any longer. I don't want to morph into stone, nor do I want to wait 100,000 years for my revenge. I want her, myself, to never transform. Or if she does, I would want her to, only as a plot device to have her sculptor believe he had his wish, in order that she might take sweeter vengeance. And so she stands there, in the gallery at night, waiting, ready.